Here's another thing I've identified in so-called game, if you will. So you're sitting outside, let's say, and you're chilling out. Could be at a park. Um, and then let's say you're sitting, somebody sits on the bench across from you. It's usually, from what I've experienced, a male, and this is only from my perspective. And then, you're reading a book or whatever it is that you're doing, and you're by yourself, or not. And then another person comes by that seems to know the individual, and they say, hey man, or something along those lines, and then they like then the person is staring at you, and you're like, okay, so why are you staring at me as you walk by? And if this were not something that I've experienced previously, I wouldn't even make mention of it. But I noticed this. So take that same scenario, for instance. You're sitting at the library and you're typing away at the computer. You're focused on what you're doing. And you look up just because you're in thought, not because you're looking at a particular person, or you're looking up because whatever, any other reason, just simply in thought. And so you look up and you're looking forward, and the person comes in, tries to get your attention, sits in front of you, alongside of you, or whatever. And then another person comes in. I'm not saying this doesn't happen. I'm just saying, in my experience, as you've heard from my previous audios, recordings, how I pick up on a lot of things, right? And so, the code or whatever you want to call it. And this is what I've identified as a common thread, a trend, if you will. And then another individual, like I said, usually comes by, hey, the same thing. It's not, boisterous or anything like that. It's kind of sly look or whatever else it is towards the individual, and they're looking back and forth between you and that individual, and the individual looks back at you, and you're like, okay, what's going on here again? And the one walking by gives you a good look over. Same scenario, take that when you're out to dinner or some other thing, but when you're by yourself generally, or, whatever it is. Same scenario. Somebody sits down, comes by somewhere near, they give you the glance over. This has happened to me before at the Trader Joe's. And they come in and they look over at you and they nod their head over and you're like, okay, what is this that's going on? Just so you know. It's my experience.